Welcome, everyone, to this episode of the Insider Interviews presented by Rogers Athletic. My name is Pat Cohan, and I'm joined by Katie Krasinski, the fitness director at Structure House in Durham, North Carolina. So then what would you say is the most common issues you're dealing with or helping people deal with when it comes to ex-athletes? They know what exercise is. They know what good nutrition is. What do you do to get them to actually do it? Your opinion, what are the do's and don'ts of pushing athletes maybe to their highest potential without creating a negative long-term effect? Before we dive into these topics, we want to thank our partner, Rogers Athletic, the premier provider of football practice and pendulum strength training and equipment. Throughout the next several weeks, we're talking to athletic directors, coaches, trainers, fitness directors to help you build a stronger program through improved structure, process, and better care for your athletes. To learn more about Rogers Athletic, please visit go.rogersathletic.com/insider. Katie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks. It's awesome to be here.
So we're bringing you in to talk about these subjects, which we've already kind of gone over, because you're the fitness director at Structure House. And a Structure House, for those that don't know, is a place where individuals, and a lot of them ex-athletes, are suffering from health issues and needing to get structure back in their life. Could you give kind of just an overview of Structure House and the type of individuals that you're providing services for?
Yeah, so Structure House is a residential-based program, which is super important for someone's changing of habits and lifestyle. We break it down each sector, so fitness, nutrition, and behavioral, all with a behavioral expertise coming to it in each one of our niches. So they are getting care for eating, moving, and mind lifestyle.
So then what would you say is the most common issues you're dealing with or helping people deal with when it comes to ex-athletes?
When it comes to ex-athletes and working with those people here at Structure House, some of the common areas that we work at with them is in their life after sport, life after injury, weight gain, of course. Most of the population we see here at Structure House is dealing with overweight, obesity related items.
When you have somebody come to Structure House, they are an ex-athlete, they have some weight issues. They've already got the structure from their high school and maybe college playing career that they know what exercise is, they know what good nutrition is, but there's something that's stopping them from, activating on that knowledge, and they've hit a low to where they need structure back in their life. What do you do to get them to actually do it? You can't just sit there, drill sergeanting them through it. How do you get them to actually become a success story?
What makes us so different here at Structure House is the fact that we have a mapping process. In terms of mapping, we are analyzing childhood experiences, teenage experiences, going up into the collegiate level of sport, hobby, play, whatever that is, normally sport for these ex-athletes, and seeing where could things have shifted, or where were the toxic pieces of this relationship, and how can that affect how you see sport and movement right now with the body you have right now.
So are you sitting down with them and just talking through it? Or you say mapping, it makes me think it's like a visual.
Yes. So we are sitting down with them in one of our offices, normally mine, and going in front of a whiteboard and writing this stuff out, which is super powerful for this person to actually see in front of them, wow, these are my past experiences. And that helps me see who I am today. And then we draw out who they want to be and how they want this stuff to go and feel. And then we start to create these visuals of any barriers that they might see are happening in their life, holding them back from actually enjoying movement and sport and exercise again. So in terms of this specific athlete, you can see words on the screen like pissed, cranky, hate my current body. And these actually were stemming from a past experience with a coach in high school. And so they created this terrible coaching and competition environment that person was so goal focused that they had no connection to their body. So they didn't enjoy it. Which is really powerful in terms of they don't have that sport anymore. Do they have any connection to exercise? most of the emotion felt through their past sport experience was challenging and hate.
Does that mean this person hated to be challenged?
No, it was just that these two emotions really sparked up when analyzing this whole map process. So
Okay.
I then follow up with, what about challenging? And for that person, it was all about challenge. That's all they ever experienced it as. And that person's environment then just created, I'm doing this to win. I'm doing this to win. So when you no longer have wins and losses, how's your exercise molded or your sport molded? And in terms of hate, there was a lot of hate with their body because they were never even brought into their body through exercise and movement and sport. It was just all about accomplish this, boom, next. Challenge it as hard as you can in the weight room and through conditioning, next. No actual, how does that feel on your body, which is key.
So I think there's just this double standard these days where coaches need to be pushing their athletes, but then they can't push their athletes too hard. So, in your opinion, what are the do's and don'ts of pushing athletes maybe to their highest potential without creating a negative long-term effect on them?
So the do's are to challenge them, but don't let that be the only emotion they feel, as well as the education part. We have to have the conversation. In terms of the don'ts, try not to be so goal focused in terms of the culture, the conversations you have with your athletes. Try to bring them more into process orientation. How do you feel? And so on.
So what do you mean by educating yourself? Is it educating yourself on how to make athletes healthier, or educating yourself on how to have conversations with athletes? What do you mean by educating yourself?
Well, it's about getting a form of self-reflection. So whether that's sitting one-on-one with your coach and your athlete and discussing this mapping process, or you can simply have your team sit in the auditorium and hand them out some kind of resource like a questionnaire to get them reflecting on these things. Here at Structure House, one way we actually dive into these topics is we give them a questionnaire and say, hey, read through these questions, answer them, and let's just reflect and analyze it. So some of the questions on this questionnaire are things like, how has sport and your experiences molded your relationship with exercise? A key follow-up question for that is it healthy or is it toxic? And what about it in the past made it that way? How would you describe your ideal relationship? What is your favorite thing about exercise? And then we just go into a little ranking system of some key items that feel are valuable. Ranking 1 to 10, how present are these values in your relationship with exercise? Trust, communication, independence, knowledge of self, and knowledge of exercise.
And through all this process, asking these questions, what does the coach get out of it?
Oh my gosh, I think it's crazy what that coach can get out of it. It's a literal 3/4 of a reflection of the environment you have your current athletes in.
Yeah.
If they're answering low on these, you got some work to do. And you should value this yourself, right? We're trying to make the best athlete also the best person in this world, life after sport. So they need this stuff to be higher up. I'm not saying everything has to be a 10 because I think that's pretty hard, but can they be 6s or 7s? Definitely above 5 if you're trying to mold the best character, the healthiest relationship with this stuff.
Katie, thanks so much for taking the time to join us on this and taking us inside the world you live in, and just painting a picture on how you help individuals work through their issues. Is there anything else you want to leave our audience with as they kind of take this information, the mapping, the questionnaires, the do's and don'ts, and bring it back to their programs wherever they might be?
I just hope you find value in this conversation. Keep in mind that this is the majority of the population in the United States. It's not just the kid who couldn't keep up in track. These are people who are elite athletes, extremely knowledgeable professionals, lawyers, teachers, coaches. I'm working with coaches too, who struggle with this stuff. So go through the mapping process, be able to sit down with yourself or your athletes and have like a simple conversation. Do you like exercise? Do you like what we do in the weight room? And just get the conversation going. I don't think it's about making like crazy big differences, especially because coaches have a lot on their plate, but it's about just getting the conversation going.
Well, thank you so much, Katie, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Awesome. Thank you.